In the February 29th Observer, Meltzer makes mention that while Vince has all hands on deck promoting WrestleMania 4, Jim Crockett Promotions just announced a TV special that will run at the same time. This would, of course, be the first Clash of the Champions featuring Flair and Sting on top in what would be a classic bout. So, Ted, here you are. You're in the biggest wrestling promotion in the world, and you're about to main event the biggest show of the year. And now JCP is about to steal a big chunk of the audience with a free offering to counter WWF's pay-per-view. Would you have been disappointed hearing the news, or did you even hear about it at the time?
I don't. In my opinion, it didn't affect us that much. The WWF at the time was so strong. I wasn't concerned about it. Actually, I was glad they were doing that, and because here's the thing. Competition is always good for business.
Yes.
And competition is also always good for the wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've got competition and somebody's nipping your heels, then the guy in charge is also going to pay you a little bit better to get the best out of you. So, in other words, if you get paid better, obviously that's the best way to make sure that guy doesn't leave you.
Yes.
So anyway, it was good for the guy. It was good for talent.
Well, we look at the Monday Night Wars, and business was as hot as it's ever been because of the competition.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a great example.
Right. Yeah. But Vince is here actively trying to eliminate competition himself. Famously in the fall of '87, Vince would create the Survivor Series concept to counter JCP's Starrcade. And then again in January of '88, JCP is running a bunkhouse stampede, and Vince created the Royal Rumble and put it on TV to distract from them. So he's going as far as issuing ultimatums to cable providers saying that if they carried JCP's pay-per-views, that he would not allow them to carry WrestleMania. So Ted, you grew up in the business, and you cut your teeth in the territories. And here's, your new boss is essentially trying to create a monopoly in professional wrestling. What did you think of that on the surface?
I don't know. I was like, I got it. I never talked a whole lot about it, but I always felt like, well, I'm glad we're having a war.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because competition is always it's always good for business, and it's good for everybody's business.
For sure.
In other words, whoever the underdog is in that, more power to him too, because now fans are going to have a choice, and it's going to make both companies work harder to earn that dollar. And hey, like what made America great? Competition.
That's it.
It's like there wasn't nobody had a monopoly. Of course, people have tried to make monopolies. Maybe that's what Vince was trying to do, but in reality, having competition was good for him, I think.
Yeah, and look, if it could have stayed with punch counter punch back and forth between the two, I think long-term success was inevitable. But after a while, JCP just couldn't counter punch anymore. Vince just outdid them in every way, shape, and form.